thank you for joining us. The things you may hear tonight might cause you intense paranoia and frights as we journey down this dark rabbit hole together. So turn down your lights and turn up your radio and enjoy. It's not normal, it's paranormal.
My baby left me on a UFO. She couldn't wait to lift off and go. I couldn't stand to see her cry. I couldn't stand.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 3 of That's Not Normal, It's Paranormal. Before we get started in tonight's special double creature feature, just want to take a couple moments here with Dante, and we'd like to offer our condolences and pay respect here this evening, and to a good friend we found out early this morning had passed away. Big fan of all of our shenanigans, really. Truly great man that'll be missed.
He meant a lot to us, and we spend a lot of time just hanging out and doing the most random stuff and making fun of one of our friends. And we wanted to dedicate this whole episode to him. And he was a huge Deadpool fan, and he probably owned every Deadpool figure ever. We had a lot of great times together, and he had a huge impact on me. And there was a lot of times that I have a lot of great memories of we got pulled over by the cops one time because our friend swerved to miss a pothole. And it hit hard. It hit close to home, and it was unexpected. And
Completely unexpected. I found out at like 4 o'clock this morning with my cousin who does a lot of our art work and will do artwork in the future, works with him. And I used to work with him many years ago. That's how I first met him. Just a great human being, good energy. Like Dante said, very unexpected. And we wish all the condolences, the best of his family and our other friends in this hard time. And we would like to, as weird as it sounds, whatnot, just have a brief moment of silence here for our friend Rick. Rest in peace, Rick, and until we all see you again, my friend.
And I'd like to I had a lot of great times with him at concerts. We went to a lot of concerts together. And my friend, I don't know what happens after we die, but I hope to see you again in the stars, my friend. And I'm going to miss you, and I love you.
All right, we ask kindly we just take a moment of silence here, then we'll get back into our regular scheduled programming. All right, Dante, you ready for episode 3, the special double creature feature?
Special Valentine's Day episode as well. We love our creatures. We love our cryptids.
We do.
Like to snuggle up right beside some furry cryptids tonight.
Your poor wife. What does she think?
She got work tonight, so I'm going to sneak in a Sheepsquatch tonight, and But I'm super excited about this. I'm a full monster fan. I love cryptids. I love monster movies. I love monsters, everything.
Oh, I completely agree. And it's actually a funny thing that I have actually had a experience that I can't actually explain. Might make more sense than possibly another later date. Talking to a friend of mine who actually goes Bigfoot hunting gave me a couple ideas of what possibly me and my brother had seen. But I might have been right out of high school, maybe, or senior year in high school. My brother was dating a girl that lived in a northeastern county here in West Virginia, and we were getting a bad snowstorm. I don't know if you remember that. That would have been around like 2009, 2010.
I think so.
Well, my dad had sent me to go with him just in case he would get stuck and would need a push or something like that. So it was late at night. We took her home, and it took us a good, probably, which should normally be like a 15, 20-minute drive, probably took us like an hour and a half. There was like no tracks on the road to even follow, so we were just guessing most of the way. But as we come home in the property, we're actually speaking to you now, my childhood home and property. We pulled in the driveway, and this weird creature ran on all fours like you would expect, like a dog or bear or something like that. And we don't have too many like bigger mammals in this area. You know, we have black bears, occasionally, very, very rarely, mountain lions or cougars and stuff like that. But it was definitely taller than the hood of my brother's Subaru Impreza that he had at the time. And
Oh, was that the Batmobile?
It was the Batmobile. Yes. It ran from around the back edge of my childhood home straight towards his car at a super fast pace, ran right towards us, cut to the right, and went up the embankment that's on the right-hand side as you pull into the driveway, which you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Disappeared, man. It moved so quick you couldn't hardly really catch a good glimpse of it. Dark fur. But the thing I found that was the most odd, because I was thinking, you know, trying to rationalize it, you know, I know bears could move quick, but you would be able to see something that big moving towards you and be able to kind of have more of a definition, because I've seen black bears. But I looked at its paw prints in the snow, took a picture of it. I wish I still had that old phone. But I did all kinds of research, man. I looked up coyote prints, you know, wolves, bears, anything that we would normally have in this area, and it didn't match up to anything. So me being a person that likes to try to see if I can debunk something, just wasn't able to.
I know in our area, because our homes were, our adult or childhood homes were not too far from each other.
Not at all.
It's not a cryptid, but in our area, we used to have folklore that there's a wild panther in the area, which is unnatural for, you know, where we live. And my neighbor, he swears there was like a black panther in the area. And one day I thought I seen it, but here it was actually what I saw was a baby bear. And I mean, I know that has nothing to do with your story, but just that there's supposedly like all these like unnatural critters running around where we grew up is wild, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've heard of that story before. Never seen anything like that. I don't know if I can put it in the realm of possibility as what we've seen that night, just because of the sheer size of it. I mean, I know they're big cats, but this thing stood up pretty high on all fours. But you know, we might not really ever know. Never seen it again. Don't have a real answer, but it's intriguing.
And that's a good part about cryptids is you have people, they'll see them maybe once, and then when you go hunting for them, you don't find them. I mean, it seems like they don't want to be found. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you're searching for them, you can't find them. But when you're least expected, bam, there they are looking at you face to face.
Yeah. I mean, nobody would believe me, especially, you know, but I did have another witness. My brother seen the same thing. Some people still might not believe it, and it's all fine and dandy. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But when you see something you can't explain, that makes it a little bit more real.
Oh, yeah. And it gives you a different perspective because, I mean, if you are skeptic about stuff like that, and then when you see something like that, you're like, oh, well, maybe there is stuff out there that I can't explain.
Yeah. So we'll get to the first creature cryptid here on our double creature feature on this special Valentine's evening. A lot of people know Sasquatch, aka Bigfoot. But one that stuck out to me a lot here is the Sheepsquatch. Familiar with a lot of sightings in the mid 1990s in the southwestern part of this West Virginia. Also seeing some sightings throughout Tennessee and Kentucky as well. But some of the information I have here is mainly on the sightings and stuff in our great state of West Virginia.
Yeah, and that's like, I absolutely love you, Boone County. I've never been there. but I know that you're not. The fact that the sightings are in Boone County makes me want to go to Boone County even more. Huge,
Boone County. Yep.
huge Jesco White fan here. And I know a lot of the counties was Boone County, Kanawha, Putnam, and Mason. And
That's where a lot of sightings were. Yep. There's a few counties there.
And I would love to like go look for Sheepsquatch. And I know a lot of the cryptid communities actually conflicted on Sheepsquatch because a lot of them think it's just made up.
Now, anything made up has some kind of realistic point most of the time, something to base it off of. But the description and stuff of Sheepsquatch, a lot of people in some of the sightings I've seen originally mistake it when it's walking on all fours as being possibly like an albino bear or a bear with the weird collaring because of its massive size and stuff and its midsection and stuff like that when it's on all fours. But it's described to having a wool-like fur, its face being a little bit more long and pointed, kind of like a dog, but with more saber-like pointier canines, and obviously having the curled back horns, that of like a sheep or goat.
And supposedly, if you smell sulfur, you might be in the presence of a Sheepsquatch. I guess because where there's speculation where it was born from the TNT area, which if you don't know, supposedly gave birth to the Mothman, and some people think it's the Mothman's home. Yeah. And because of where they had ammunition and they manufactured and stored ammunition there during World War II. So that's why the Sheepsquatch supposedly has the sulfur smell.
Yeah, it's also believed that it could just have some musk scent glands, just kind of like how skunks do, as like a defensive mechanism to kind of keep things away from it. And it's funny, like you talk about military ties, because one of the rare occurrences, one of the ones that are noted was in 1994 when a actual former Navy soldier had stated to seeing the beast breaking through the forest, breaking some medium to thin limbs and stuff like that, and seen it actually drinking from a creek.
Yeah, and then within the same year, 2 children also saw the creature while just playing in their yard in Boone County. And they said that they thought it was a large white bear, but then when it stood up, it was massive.
Yeah, they say like 6.5 to sometimes 8 feet tall in some of the sightings.
Now, like the first encounters, though, the Sheepsquatch wasn't very aggressive. Like when he noticed them, or I guess they noticed him, he actually took off running.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the later ones we'll talk about, he was more aggressive.
Yeah, it's funny you really think of that. Maybe certain things, because I know one of these sightings, through reading research, kind of seems like it might get spooked by a car. Maybe the car got a little bit too close and it felt like it had to be defensive, possibly. I didn't really see any cases of too much any like harm or anything like that. Definitely, and the one we're talking about happened the following year in their first 2 sightings in 1995. Where a couple was driving there through Boone County again, and they seen it sitting in a ditch, a large white creature.
I couldn't even imagine. Like you're driving down the road and you probably think, well, I mean, even if it's bent over, you could probably tell it's a big creature. So you probably automatically assume it's a bear or, I mean, what else maybe a cow? Would you think it's a cow? I don't know. I mean,
I guess with the horns and stuff, it's possible if you're not really that close.
Yeah, maybe you think it's a bull or something.
What I thought was interesting too in the 1995 one that we're speaking of here with the couple in the car is they actually said that they believed that the creature actually had 4 eyes instead of just having 2.
Yeah, I seen that. And that would creep me out even more. You think it's a you know, you don't know it's for sure. I mean, realistically, they probably never even heard of a sheep squatch before. So you're just driving down the road and this four-eyed creature's hanging out in the ditch. I mean, I'm fucking hitting the pedal to the floor and driving off from him.
For sure. And when they did drive off and they stopped the car, they realized that the car actually had some marks, some scratches and stuff along the side. So it definitely did possibly retaliate in a defensive nature.
Now, personal question. Would you have stopped the car to look at it?
Maybe from a distance, but I wouldn't get close enough to where I can hit the vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because I've seen too many horror films, but I mean, I know better that if I see a thing with horns, even if it was possibly a bull or, you know, maybe a regular ram, I don't know, but I'm still not getting too close to that fucker.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get that close to anything, especially something you don't know.
Especially in Boone County.
It's funny because you talked about like aggressive nature. The next real well noted instance, which happened like 4 years later, involved campers, which said that were actually chased by the Sheepsquatch, which again, it could have just been a defensive territorial thing. They did run off, so who knows? You know, they stopped. It might have turned out worse. And it's the first time somebody has, you know, that it was noted that they actually heard it make sounds.
Yeah, they said it was supposed to be like a terrible, terrible scream. Like, I want to know what a sheep squatch sounds like. I really do. Like, does he have like a Bigfoot sound? Does he have just the sheep like? I mean, he kind of looks like a goat to me. Like, he looks more like a goat than a sheep to me.
Yeah, I think he just gets really that nickname just because of the way they believe his fur is. But yeah, I agree with you as well. It looks more goat-like than it does sheep-like.
On this podcast, I think we're gonna make a new term for him. He's gonna be goat squatch.
Goat squatch.
Goat squatch. I'm down for it. Goats are mean.
For sure. They can be. I've been headbutted by one friend of mine's family actually had as a pet. Those little bastards sometimes give you a nice little headbutt.
And I actually thought about I'd love to have goats just so I don't have to mow my grass. So maybe I can get a goat squatch. It'll be like protecting my house and eating my grass.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to worry about anybody coming knocking on your door, huh?
I don't know if I'd want to knock on my door. Come on, knock on my door. Sorry, had to.
It's always funny though with a lot of the cryptid stories and stuff like that, because I don't know too much, you know, looking at the research stuff. Like I know watching stuff with like regular squatches and Bigfoot and stuff like that, they communicate in some different ways, where they supposedly knock with tree branches against trees to communicate, possibly ward off people from their areas and stuff.
Now I noticed. Okay, so I was doing massive research, and I watched. Was it called Mountain Monsters?
Mountain Monsters.
Mountain Monsters. And that show's hard to watch. But they did an episode on Sheepsquatch, and I had to watch it just for this podcast. And my biggest takeaway is that in every photo, Sheepsquatch is more elusive than Bigfoot. He just comes out as like a blur every photo. And he has chlamydia. Okay, now hear me out. His piss is fire. That trapper guy, his face was burning because somehow Sasquatch pissed. Sheepsquatch pissed on a tree limb, and it dripped down on his face and caught his face on fire. Now that's something I did not find in any other research, that Sheepsquatch has fire piss.
Hey man, maybe it's sulfur in the piss. You know?
It could be. I think they even said I think they did say it smelled like sulfur, but just the fact that like Sheepsquatch would piss that high up a tree and then the piss falls on your face. It's like he's setting up piss traps all over the place. Like that's why I would not hunt him. I would stay away from him. Like he's there, you see him beside the ditch, you're like, oh, I'm gonna check on him. You go run over there, bam, he just shakes a tree and his piss goes flying everywhere towards you.
I know, like I said, I talked to a friend who actually goes squatch hunting, and she actually showed me some pictures. If I get in contact with her again, I'd love to actually see if we could get some of the pictures to share on our new Facebook page. But weird little like makeshift buildings of things. So weird formations and stuff like actually hanging up in the tree. Definitely in weird ways that's, obviously could be man-made, but it's hard to say when you're out in the middle of nowhere. But it's not like the way branches would fall down off of a tree or something in a storm. They were like deliberately set to have almost like a canopy feel and stuff to it. So they could be smart enough maybe to make traps. I mean, world may never know.
Well, you figure they're smart enough to turn into a blur for a camera. And they outsmarted all the mountain men. So I mean, I got full faith in Sheepsquatch now.
That's some things with shows and stuff like that is any realistic expectation from anything just gets thrown to the side of the weeds. It's like, yeah, is it good entertainment? Sure. But could they bring some truth to some of the stories and stuff, just like other paranormal ghost shows and stuff? Possibly.
Yeah,
is what's going on the actuality, or is it just entertainment value?
Yeah, and that's like, I feel like there's a thin line. Like there's probably some truth to some of those people's stories on there. Like some of them seem believable, like very little believable, but then I feel like they try to crank it up to a 10. They're like, because maybe the guy, like one of them stories was the guy went to cut his wood and he goes to cut the wood and all of a sudden this 8-foot tall creature comes out of the wood and walks off into the woods, which by our stories that we've told, that's a possibility. But then he adds on the blurry photos and that the trees are all tore up and you know what I mean? Like he keeps adding on to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that they run against trees and stuff too, like deer and stuff do with antlers, but it's just hard to tell sometimes with those shows. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer that anything is possible, but I also like to keep the realization of debunking things. Sometimes there's things that can't be debunked. But if you have hundreds of thousands of people seeing things just like ghosts and UFOs, and ghosts probably in the millions, because that's in like every culture, every country of the world. There's people with ghost stories. It's like we can't all be crazy and seeing things.
Well,
so I like to keep my mind open with the possibility that anything is possible.
And with Ghost has a huge tie to religion. And a lot of religions, I mean, Christianity, there's all kinds of religions, but I'm just trying to get to my point. They all rely on the belief that you have a soul and it goes somewhere. Unless you're atheist and you just die.
Yeah.
But like, you want to believe that there's something after death. And a lot of times, I mean, if you believe in a religion, I feel like you technically already believe in ghosts. Like, because
yeah.
I mean, you believe that there's got to be something else. Like your soul has to go somewhere.
I'm a firm believer that it does. I mean, maybe not in any similar, like all principles of one certain entity or religion or anything like that. But I mean, got to go somewhere, man. Too many people have seen things. I've seen things that can't be explained. So there's definitely something after this, and I'm a firm believer in that. And if people don't agree with that, that's fine. Like I said, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and sometimes it takes you actually seeing something you can't explain to turn those thoughts around. But it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like, you can believe what you want. I mean, that's, that's on you, that's on you, but we're just, I try to keep an open mind to all things, and because any of it could be true or any of it could be wrong. I don't know. I'll never know. Yeah. We're all in the same boat. When we die, I mean, you don't know what happens when we die. So you're just
one thing, man, I think is curious with the Sheepsquatch is how massive it is. There's been sightings and reports of it being 8-9 feet tall, 5 feet broad. Do you imagine being out in the woods and seeing something that big?
Oh, I'd shit myself.
I mean, I'm a big man above average, and I would shit myself. I would hope I have my brown pants on.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't know if you can outrun it. I mean, I wonder how fast it actually runs. Yeah. It's got to be fast.
You wonder what it would eat, but the definition, by how its teeth and stuff are, you would automatically assume that it's probably a carnivore or omnivore,
I wonder if it's as fast as a Sasquatch or if it's as fast as a sheep. Because do sheeps go that fast?
I think they could boogie pretty quick. I mean, not the fastest mammals on the planet, but pretty sure they could be pretty decent.
I just need to know if I can outrun this thing if I ever see it in the woods. Like, I would try to become friends with it, but every photo I've seen interpreting this thing looks like he's just going to bite your head off.
Yeah. So sheep can run at about a speed of about 20 miles per hour.
I don't know if I can run that fast, but I would try. Do we know how fast a Sasquatch will run? Because, I mean, if he's got sheep and Sasquatch in him, I don't know. Well, Sasquatch I've never really seen run. He just kind of calmly walks.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, don't really know.
I want to see a race between a sheep and a Sasquatch.
I mean, I think humans, like the fastest of humans, probably running around like 23, 24 miles an hour. So I'd say the average would probably be lower because, some of us are fat and not athletes.
I break about the 7 miles per hour mark, and that's about it, I think.
I might be at 4.5, maybe 6 if I have a reason to get there quick. Short burst.
Next time we hang out, you want me to drive the car beside you to see how fast you can run?
You're done for the day.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lay here for a while. I'll be good.
As long as I can get in the car when we're done. Lay in the back seat.
Oh shit, there's Sheepsquatch.
Yeah, wouldn't get that close, that's for sure.
But
so a couple other things too with Sheepsquatch, and you mentioned some similarities about what was it, the TNT area?
Yeah,
which we'll talk about more as well. It's just like, I do wonder sometimes if cryptids and weird animals that people see, just like what I've seen, is possibly some weird mutation or like hybridization of some sort.
Well, it's that's what I mean. The TNT area right now it's just a wildlife preserve, and I know they said that one time that it was really polluted, and that many of the ingredients that they used to make the ammunition were just dumped and left in the local ponds. Like, they just left the place and trashed it. And I think there's still World War II bunkers there. Like you can tour it every year at the Mothman Festival.
Yeah, I know there's still bunkers and stuff there. I've seen that on a lot of shows. Stuff talking especially about Mothman.
See, I was up there, but I didn't get to tour it. Like, I love the Mothman Festival, but last time I was there, it was so packed that it was hard to do anything. It's
I
best.
haven't got to go. I would like to go for sure. Maybe we should do that sometime. We could talk about the experience of the Mothman Festival, get some pictures and stuff and share with the audience.
And I think I think it'd probably be best to go just randomly, just so you can enjoy the museum, the statue. If you don't know it, there's a Mothman video camera set up 24/7, and you can just watch it on YouTube for free. And like, I mean, it's kind of pointless, but it's funny because once in a while people was bringing canned beans, and offering canned beans to the Mothman. And
were they offering pepperoni rolls and Mountain Dew?
They should have, but they wasn't. It was just canned beans for some reason, and it was pretty great.
Yeah, we'll definitely, for everybody watching, we're definitely going to have some special episode on the Mothman. Don't you worry. We definitely want to make a special event out of probably the most notorious cryptid / paranormal entities out of this whole state. It's one of the well-known things about the state of West Virginia and Pleasant Valley, that whole incident.
Point Pleasant,
my bad. Point Pleasant. So definitely going to be a podcast in the future.
And in Point Pleasant, they also got Piggly Wiggly. So,
well, we'll talk about that as well. Plenty of things on the list. And before we get to the second part of our creature feature, I would like everybody to please do us a favor. We are now, I believe, iHeartRadio, or on Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. If everybody could go, it'd be much appreciated on all platforms, but do what you can and like, subscribe, follow. We do now have a Facebook page, which is just listed underneath the title of the show. That's not normal, that's paranormal. We would appreciate any follows, likes. It helps us out. More likes and stuff we get, hopefully it helps out and we can continue to better on the podcast.
And we've enjoyed all the we've got a lot of love, and we definitely thank you for that, because I mean we're doing this as a hobby, but knowing that people are liking what we do and liking the topics and just enjoying it all together, it warms our hearts.
It really does. And it's much, much appreciated. I was actually talking to Rolo, who does some of our art directive stuff with our logo and working on a few other things for us as well. Actually told me a friend of his has actually watched some of our episodes like 12 and 13 times. And that is just much appreciated.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out. Hey, James, this is for you. Now he's probably like, damn it, I'm not going to listen to this no more.
See, you spilled it. You spilled the beans, man.
I ruined it. Nah, I'll give shout outs when I can. I like shout outs. Also, big news is here in the near future, we might have some shirts.
Yes, we might. Definitely something we're working on getting together, getting some shirts. We're going to try to get some merch, which we can actually put up on Facebook, and we'll figure out some other details as well. And while we're giving some shout outs and stuff here, Dante, why don't you go ahead and show a little love to Captain Catfish for doing our intro theme?
Yeah, and a huge shout out to Captain Catfish for allowing us to use one of their songs for the theme. It's actually one of my favorite songs from them. It's called Crying Saucers. And you can go support them. They're on Spotify. And they're also, you can buy their merch from captaincatfish.bigcartel.com. They're on YouTube too, I think. And yeah, give them big support. Buy some shirts, buy some CDs. listen to
Yeah,
them on some streaming. Go
yeah, we
enjoy them.
appreciate them allowing us to use their song as our intro theme song. It's definitely a good jam. And one more thing I was going to touch base on here before we get to the second part of our double creature feature, Valentine's edition. Uh, if you have any questions, concerned, or want to tell us personal experiences in the paranormal, always feel free, like in every episode, to email us at nnpnpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's nnpnpodcast@gmail.com. So Dante, go ahead and tell us about our second cryptid that you're so super invested and excited. Makes you want to tickle your pickle and run around the world.
I'm gonna tell you now, this next topic, I did not know about it until I started doing research, and I'm in love with it. It is up there in my top 3 cryptids now. Now, I'm just going to lay out the backdrop before I even tell you what it is. It's 1968. You're in a wooded area around Fairmont, and in the woods, you hear an odd noise. Sounds like a record player, which I was going to try to make a record player sound, but I'm pretty awful at that. So just imagine a record player. And it's running faster and faster. Then all of a sudden, you're face to face with a green Veggieman creature. Dun, dun, dun.
Bum, bum, bum.
Now, I'm a huge fan of this Veggieman creature. His nicknames was like Vegetable Man or Veggie Man. But the man that ran into it said that the creature was like, it looked all weakened and sickly, and he was like jabbering. And supposedly the creature was like, I think it was like 7 foot tall. Yeah, he was 7 foot tall, thin, and he's very plant-based. So like
Humanoid shape as well.
Yeah, with suction cups at the end of his hands. And he had large ears, and his eyes would go from red to yellow really rapidly. And I imagine it was like a really skinny version of Swamp Thing. That's what I imagined in my head. And so like they come face to face, and the creature is so advanced, okay? He had telepathic communication, supposedly. And he said, "You need not fear me. I wish to communicate. I come as friend. We know of you all. I come in peace. I wish medical assistance. I need your help." So you're like, now, if you've ever seen Mars Attacks, you know what's about to happen. The creature jumps up at him, knocks him down, and sticks his like, I don't, it said like thorns, but it said he had suction cups at the end of his hands. So I don't know if like maybe they were like needles or what, but he sticks his fingers into the guy, drains his blood, and then just hops off and runs away.
Yeah, from what I actually seen was it's got thorns on its like end of its hands and fingers where the suction cups are. And actually, while it was sucking his blood, it actually picked him up, and he was unable to break away from research that I've done on Veggieman, aka Vegetable Man, aka Donnie's favorite cryptid.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm getting Veggieman tatted right by my heart. Like he's worked his way into my heart. And unlike Sheepsquatch, where people are very skeptical about Sheepsquatch, and he's been seen like a good bit of times, there's only ever been one encounter with Veggieman, and this is it.
Yeah, I also see too that the gentleman who was out hunting when this incident happened believed that he heard a loud, deep humming coming from the other side of the hill that he ran up to get away. He believes actually was a creature ship, so he believes it was fully extraterrestrial.
I don't want to give names because I don't know like if the guy's secretive about her or what. But if anybody knows the man that actually encountered Veggieman, I would love to do an interview. Like, I'm fully in on Veggieman as my favorite cryptid.
I know, man. You've been talking about it all week, like nonstop. The pictures are pretty interesting, though. Have you seen some of the pictures depicted online?
Yeah, he kind of looks like Groot a little bit.
Honestly, the drawings, yeah. Sharp claws, pointy with tentacles. Yeah, it's definitely definitely a one and done kind of thing. Like you said, it has only been sighted once. It is crazy though that it's possibly there's some telepathic communication. That's definitely would be considered advanced or other species like, because obviously we can't communicate telepathically.
That's why I think he's probably a stronger cryptid than Mothman. He's going to be representing our state soon. We're going to be passing the religion of Veggieman onto every person in West Virginia.
Yeah, the only difference is though is like, I don't know if I'd fully just consider him like a cryptid. So I think a cryptid, I think of more like animal-like creatures that run around or hidden and stuff that are potentially from here, even though there's some rumors and stuff possibly about Sasquatch actually being an alternate dimension being. Is why it's hard to find, because he's able to, teleport to different dimensions and all of that. But definitely from the story, it seems like it might just be completely extraterrestrial. So, and that's something we're going to get into as well. It's going to be some alien sightings and stuff, which I have some information on that we might be able to get some details about. A family member of mine, his personal experience, found out we might actually be able to go and find a newspaper clipping that we might be able to share and get, which would be pretty interesting.
I'd like to think that your family member saw something that was related to Veggieman. Like it was literally Veggieman. Your family member is the second experience that we've been waiting for to bust this story wide open.
Well, my family member didn't see an actual terrestrial, but did see a ship that was actually really low to the ground, which could be Veggieman's Cadillac.
In 1968, he saw this ship, and that is the missing piece to this puzzle.
It's funny that you say that, because this actually would have happened in the mid-'60s.
See, Veggieman.
But it actually was published in a local newspaper in the area, which me and you might have to make a little date and make a little trip down to Elkins, West Virginia.
So let me get this straight. We done this podcast tonight just so you could this podcast on Valentine's Day, just so you could eventually ask me to be your Valentine? Is that what's going on here?
I mean, now that it's out in the open, I feel like we've always been each other's Valentine.
I mean, I didn't get no chocolates from you today, but at least I got to talk to you, I guess.
Well, we might have some other festivities at the end of this week. We might get more than chocolate.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to dress as Veggieman for you.
Would not surprise me if you have a Veggieman cosplay.
I mean, you could probably wear one of those green suits and glue some limbs on and put suction cups on your fingers, and it would be a Veggieman costume.
You just go get those little like window hanger suction cups and just like paint them green.
Yeah, you just like hook them up to your hands. And I mean, that might be my Halloween costume this year.
You know what? You should definitely go as Veggieman.
I
can see it. I can see it now.
I'm all about it.
The most ginger Veggieman in the existence of all mankind.
Probably the only Veggieman of all mankind. But yeah, that's our creature feature Valentine's Day special for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it. We like doing monsters. I mean, we like doing ghosts too, but it's nice to switch it up occasionally.
Oh yeah, man, we're going to be all over the place. That is for sure.
But yeah, I'm glad you guys spent your Valentine's Day with us. hopefully you guys get some chocolates and flowers and Veggie Man delivers.
Yeah, and just remember, man, next time you're out in the woods, you see something, it's possible that that's not normal. It's just paranormal.